Good evening. It is 9 o'clock. I'm meteorologist Melissa Knorr with this weather impact update. We have been tracking some heavy rain producing thunderstorms across North Georgia, really over the Atlanta metro area, developing over the last hour and a half. And some of you did see right before sunset really pretty rainbows in the sky. This one from Dinser Oscar, one of our 11 Live weather impact team members on Facebook. But also, these thunderstorms are incredibly electric. And this is our live tower camera that's from kind of western DeKalb County. It is looking south and west into Atlanta. And as we play this tower cam for you, look how it just kind of flashes all of a sudden out of nowhere. That's the electric lightning strikes that we're seeing within this thunderstorm. Another angle of some of that lightning. This is our live camera at Georgia Tech's campus in Midtown. Also at times in this one, you see bright flashes of light. There you go. There's one of those flashes of light, very electric storm on top of downtown Atlanta. And this camera is in Decatur, and that is looking kind of in the northward direction. We still see some of the flashes of lightning on the right side of the screen looking towards the west. So we do have a very electric setup on top of Atlanta. So I know this evening started off mostly dry, but I was telling you on the news today at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock how we would see more storms around sunset, and that's exactly what's transpired over this evening. So these are really moving from west to east, and they are closely coordinated with that I-20 and I-85 corridor. So we're seeing a lot of this heavy rain right on top of Atlanta right now. I have looped this radar so you can see the west to east progression of this, but also how we're kind of back building with some of this heavy rain. We're seeing the heavy rain go over some of the same areas over and over again. So that's quickly adding up in terms of our rainfall totals. And we know Atlanta city streets, some of those storm drains, they get clogged. They don't handle the water as well. Some of the roadways themselves do not run off the water effectively into those drains. So there's probably already some standing water on the roadways right now. And this particular thunderstorm as well, it has been pulsing up and pulsing down, meaning it gets stronger, it collapses a little bit, it puts down some strong gusty winds, and then it builds itself back up again. So currently, as it's building itself back up, the lightning count continues to increase, about 86 lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes there, and you can kind of see where the heavy rain is clustered. Let me take that lightning count off of this, and we'll zoom into some of these areas picking up very heavy rainfall. The northern extent of that is pretty much to about Claremont Road and La Vista Road. It goes through Druid Hills, it goes through Edgewood, lighter rain in downtown Decatur, but really as you're driving to the western DeKalb and Fulton County line, that's where the rain becomes a lot heavier, incredibly heavy rain throughout West Midtown, over in towards Bolton Road, that 285 corridor, passing the Westminster School as well, and then down to I-20, we've got heavy rain. And then on the south side of that heavy rain, it's stretching through the west end, down through the Grady Curve, all the way down to the 75 and 675 split, which if you remember from a couple of weeks ago, this area right in here, right south of that 675-75 split, and then down to 285 on 75. We had a lot of flooding a couple weeks ago, so we hope that this heavy rain doesn't go over those areas, because about 2 weekends ago, it seemed like it flooded in the same areas 2 days back to back. Heavy rain throughout East Atlanta, down through Constitution, Lakewood Heights, down past the zoo as well, all the way down to 285 in DeKalb County. So a lot of heavy rain within this particular thunderstorm, and I mentioned that wind component of it. This is a mode of radar where we're looking at the winds. How strong are the winds? What direction are they moving in? You often see this use this component as we're tracking severe weather in terms of tornadoes, but in the summertime, this is one of those things we can look at to show how thunderstorms are pulsing up and pulsing down. That's one of the things I've been watching with this, is where are we seeing it turning a little bit stronger, and where is that thunderstorm really collapsing. And the thunderstorm right now, as we look at it, is still very strong over that entire 285, downtown connector. That's what I'm trying to say. It's pretty strong over the whole downtown connector, but the lightning has been increasing now in kind of this west midtown area, so we might see it pulsing back up again in that general region through kind of Marietta Street, out towards the west end of West Midtown as well. So tracking the storm system becoming this particular cell a little bit stronger there. Now to the south and west, we'll go outside the perimeter. You can see near Palmetto, Fayetteville as well. We've got some little pockets of heavy rainfall. We'll zoom in on some of these a little bit closer so we can get you some road names right over DeMooney Road, Georgia Highway 92, Union Road. We've got some pockets of heavy rain and a few lightning strikes as well. And that is just north of Palmetto and the lovely mail facility there. We'll go into Riverdale and Clayton County if my radar wants to move for us. We've drawn the green box, but it doesn't really want to. There we go. Let's try this again. We'll go into Riverdale and we've got another little pocket of heavy rain just south of the airport. So that is producing some heavy rain, one little lightning strike there. That's right over Bethesda Drive, Georgia Highway 138. And then look down in Henry County, yet another small little thunderstorm here. This one has, again, some pockets of heavy rain, couple lightning strikes, nothing too impressive, but that's on the northeast side of McDonough throughout Henry County and also southern Rockdale and Newton counties. A little bit of heavy rain moving in there. All right, let's head further northeast, and you can see these eastern suburbs. As you're driving out along 316 from Gwinnett County towards Athens, we've got these heavy rain producing thunderstorms as well. Let me loop these so you can just kind of see the progression of them. They're generally moving east. They have ever so slightly of kind of a southeastern component to them. But the strongest of these thunderstorms right now is moving into Winder. So I'll pull up on here a zoomed in version of that radar moving in towards Watkinsville, Eastville as well, and Athens. And let me see if I can pull up our Athens camera. I'm going to put it in this camera source. Right now you see Midtown and Georgia Tech. I'm going to pull up our cameras so I can get, let's see here. The beauty of these streams is when we're on these streams, we can really have more of a flexible conversation. It doesn't have to be very rigid like a weathercast. So this is our Georgia Tech camera right now, and that is on, I believe it was 58. We're on 58, so I'm going to take that and put in the Athens camera. Let's see what Athens looks like. There we go, there's Athens. Now that camera right now, let me move it around. I think I saw a couple lightning strikes. There they are. They're on the right side of the screen. This is cool. When the lightning actually flashes, what's cool about this is you can see the rain shaft a lot better. The rain shaft is just the area of heavy rain. Ooh, look at that. Oh, this gets me excited when we're on these live streams and we catch some great lightning strikes. So it'll pan a little bit more. So the heavy rain, we're looking straight into the heavy rain. This is the intense part of that thunderstorm that's near Watkinsville. I just want to stay on this for a second so we can see some of those lightning flashes off in the distance. So a lot of these are intracloud lightning. In fact, about 90% of lightning strikes are intracloud, only about 10% strike the ground. But, woo, there we go. That was great. That made me excited. So that's a good cloud to ground lightning strike right there. Impressive to look at on this live camera. You know, we have this whole network of live cameras across North Georgia. One of the cool things about these is we can maneuver the cameras the way that we want. If we are trying to look at a lunar eclipse or something like that, we can change the iris on the cameras. And they're so valuable tracking thunderstorms because a lot of these are higher up on top of buildings. And so you can see as the lightning flashes, you can see that rain shaft, which is kind of in the center part of the screen. On the right side of the screen, the rain is not as heavy. So as the lightning flashes, you can see more of the ground there. Wow, this is a great electric camera right now. So this is taking that camera and looking at, we just positioned it now due south of where our camera's located. It's still that side of the screen that's more electric. This side of the screen over here on the left, we have more of the clear sky at the ground. You can see where the camera is a little bit lighter there, but we're looking directly into the heavy rain. But it's clearly southwest that is the much more electric part of the thunderstorm. Let's go this way a little bit more just to watch it. Ooh. That was on the left side of the screen, but we didn't quite get a great vantage point of that. Anyways, that's pretty cool to watch that camera. So we'll leave that in the current source so that we can come back to it in a couple of minutes. So that is my Call this REM 58 source where it's in right now. So that's our live tower camera in Athens. And if you want to continue watching some of these tower cameras, if you go to 11alive.com, you go to the weather section, there's actually a drop down for the live cameras. Oh, that was another great one. Did you see that? That was a good cloud to ground lightning strike there. Let's actually dive into that cloud to ground lightning because I want to talk about that a little bit more. Let's look at the positive versus negative lightning strikes on this. And as we do so, I'm just checking, you know, I have this communication source constantly with the National Weather Service. So we're looking at communication that they're sending to us and any damage reports that we're getting in. Increasing concern, though, about the storm's back building is what they're saying. And that's what I pointed out at the start of this 9 o'clock live stream was about these storms back building on that west side of Atlanta, leading to more heavy rain falling over areas of the city that do not have great drainage. We have a lot of impervious surfaces, meaning concrete and asphalt and all of that, and it doesn't absorb the water. So it runs off and it runs off into the low points of the road, and those low points on the road flood. Let's go to the lightning strikes, then we're going to go back to the flooding threat in Atlanta. So first, lightning strikes. Okay, one of the things about lightning strikes is we have different kinds of lightning. We have positive polarity lightning and negative polarity lightning. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to query, this is all the lightning strikes, negative lightning strikes. Let's query those again. Query. 72, those were the negative lightning strikes. Now let's go to positive lightning strikes. Okay, we have to take the query off and we'll put it on again. Positive lightning strikes are much more powerful than the negative ones. It lasts longer, and because of that longness of the length of it, and they're, you know, the cloud to ground lightning strikes that we're talking about, they often are the types of lightning strikes that cause tree fires and house fires. And we have seen a lot of these positive lightning strikes in the last few weeks because we have more humidity in the atmosphere. It just does some few little different things to the ionization. So my query with the number of strikes is not working for positive versus negative, but what is working is if we just take the lightning and we show positive, negative, and all, and you can see where these are positive lightning strikes. They're clustered in western Oconee County. So that's where the storm's a little bit more dangerous in terms of the electric aspect of it, is over in the western part of Oconee County, so closer to Eastville, North High Shoals, and Snows Mill as well. All right, let's go back to the center of Atlanta. So the Weather Service was just commenting how they're getting more concerned about the back building of thunderstorms. This is an hour-long loop, which, we've got storm outflow, which is going to cause more storms on the south side of town. But let me take you through a 2-hour loop here. Do you see how it's been raining pretty much nonstop for the last hour and a half, right over that downtown connector, kind of west midtown area? Let's go to the rain estimates. So yeah, we've already got rain estimates that are about 2 inches. And that's for really Georgia Tech down through some of our HBCU campuses over into Battle Hill, Center Hill neighborhood as well. So that's a lot of rain in a short amount of time when we're talking about it falling on a city road, where these city roads just don't handle the rain. These are estimated rainfall totals. It's not exact, but inch, 2 inches, some spots 2.5 inches. So as these storms continue, when I say back building, let's go to the radar. And we've got more storm action trying to form west, and it's moving to the east in areas that have already gotten heavy rain. So we call that kind of training, where train cars go over the same line of the train track over and over again. Well, with storms, if we have heavy rainfall falling and then it back builds, we have another area of heavy rain going over the same area again. So it's just kind of a nonstop watering hose or conveyor belt of heavy rain that moves over the same areas over and over again. So we could be looking at increasing flooding, especially kind of in this area right in here. Through Atlanta's west end up into Atlanta, and sorry, not up into Atlanta. We're looking at Atlanta. I'm looking at my chat at the same time. up into West Midtown through Howell Mill, Collier Heights, Northside Drive, Marietta Road, that kind of area as well. We've had a lot of rain. So I just want you to keep that in mind. I know it's the summer and folks, during the summertime, they get to do more outdoor plans and not, have less worries when you're maybe not dealing with the school night with the kids, but there is some heavy rain coming down now. It continues to come down, so that flooding threat is something I'm watching very carefully as we go through the next hour. All right, so what about the rest of the evening? Well, between now and midnight, I'm still expecting showers and storms, but we really should see them winding down after that. We are looking big picture at, that was a forecast track run. I just want to show you big picture. There's a few more thunderstorms in Alabama, but we're not seeing anything really intense in kind of West Georgia. There are some rain showers, but we've lost the lightning on those. So it's really the immediate concern is this heavy rain and flooding and training of the same cells over and over again. We've also got a couple of storms that are going to be moving in towards Randolph County and Cleburne County. These will probably target more of Atlanta's south side. So through now and midnight, we're tracking these showers and storms, although the Storm Prediction Center does, oh good, they took out the level 1 risk of severe weather. So that's great. I was going to say heavy rain's my main concern for the evening. For Thursday, and this is tomorrow, we've got another round of storms moving in. It'll be afternoon and evening time frame. And tomorrow, the dynamics, the wind energy and everything may be set up a little bit more for some of those gustier winds within thunderstorms. It will again be starting in the afternoon, really picking up through the evening commute and then winding down at some point tomorrow evening. So level 1 risk east of Atlanta. And for Augusta in east central Georgia, that is a level 2 risk of severe weather. Now for tomorrow, we've gone with a 50% chance of showers and storms. Friday, a 40%, but then over the weekend, a little bit of a pattern change is coming in. We're not going to see as basically widespread of showers and storms. It's going to be pretty isolated. As the storms turn more isolated, the temperatures are going to start going back up again. So let's go through forecast track. Anything that's out there right now in terms of storms will calm down by sunrise tomorrow morning. It'll be a very humid start to the day. We're in the mid 70s and we have a mostly dry first half of the day all the way through lunchtime. Then for the afternoon, showers and storms start to develop. As they do so, it'll be after 1 or so in the afternoon. They could quickly become a little intense, heavy rain, lightning, even gusty winds. But not everybody's going to see a storm tomorrow. That's the nature of these scattered storms is some of us get them, some of us do not. So watching that for Thursday, let me show you that they quiet down in the evening and then look at Friday. Very similar. Copy, paste, repeat. Dry start to the day in the 70s. Lunchtime mostly dry. Afternoon, another round of those scattered downpours and thunderstorms. And while we're not tracking the storms, it's going to be the heat. So if it's not raining at your house, it's going to be hot and humid for the next couple of days. Thursday planner, dry start, showers and storms increase for the afternoon. And with a higher rain chance tomorrow, a little earlier than today's rain chance, we may not be quite as hot as today. We hit 94 today. Tomorrow, we'll hit 90 for the high temperature. Now today was our 21st day so far this year at or above 90 degrees, and we're in the middle of a heat wave. Today was our 8th day in a row at or above 90 degrees. We're going to add another 7 on top of that likely, as long as there isn't a storm that pops up over Hartsfield-Jackson at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. If it waits until 2 or 3, we probably will hit 90 degrees before that happens. We average about 47 days at or above 90 degrees, but we've seen summers with a lot more than that. And one of those recent summers is our record number of 90-degree days in Atlanta. That was 2019, 6 years ago. We had 91 days at or above 90 degrees. That was a hot summer. Okay, so 90 degrees with higher chances of showers and storms Thursday and Friday during each afternoon. Over the weekend, as the rain chance drops, those temperatures will start climbing up again. 94 on Sunday and Monday, 95. So we mean heat for the All-Star Week games that are happening here at Truist Park this weekend. I know there's a lot of activities happening related to All-Star Week. I've just pinpointed those things happening at Truist Park. The HBCU Swingman Classic, 40% chance of showers and storms the first innings of that game. We should see them calming down the later innings of the game. We'll cross our fingers that those storms don't happen at Truist Park, but it is a possibility if you're going to that. For Saturday, of course, we got the Futures game at 4 o'clock, and then following that, the celebrity softball game, which I'm forecasting 100% chance of seeing stars, but realistically a 20% chance of a shower storm. Going to be hot at the start of both of those things, and then by Monday we've got the home run derby. Sunday is that break at Truist Park when we have the draft happening in Atlanta itself. Monday the home run derby, 8 o'clock. Going to be hot for that. Very slim chance there could be a shower storm. For the All-Star game itself on Tuesday, there's a 30% chance near the start of it that there could be a shower storm impacting things at Truist Park. So that's what we'll be watching. I want to go back to radar for a second because I want to focus in as we kind of close this out in the last few minutes of this live stream about the flooding in Atlanta. There's several rain gauges around the metro area, and one of those rain gauges near Six Flags, about 2 inches so far has fallen. Multiple gauges in the area, 1.2 to 1.6 inches from one of our meteorologists of the Weather Service. They're going to come out with a flash flood warning for Atlanta, and it looks like they just have. So let me pull up the information on this. This is a flash flood warning. It's a baseline flash flood warning, but it could be upgraded if things turn worse. So this flash flood warning runs until 10:45 p.m. Until 10:45 p.m. So, we've already picked up in some areas within this flash flood warning about 2 inches of rain, and the storm is still producing heavy rainfall. So we know that we have a lot of asphalt and concrete, not a lot of grass in some of these areas because we're in the city. So the ground is not absorbing the water because it's running off all of those, we call them impervious surfaces, meaning concrete and asphalt and buildings and all of that. And in fact, if we backtrack about 2 weeks ago, we had flooding in some of these same areas. In Atlanta in general, we had a lot of flooding about 2 weeks ago. So we're looking at a new flash flood warning until 10:45 p.m. An estimated 2 inches of rain has already fallen within the warning area. I'm going to take radar off of this just for a second so we can highlight some of the areas that are within this flash flood warning. Let me just move this out of the way just so you can see the box on the map. So I'll just read some of the warning text. Between 1 and 3 inches of rain has already fallen. An additional 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. So some of the areas include Atlanta, of course, the city of South Fulton, East Point, down by the airport, Midtown, the zoo at Grant Park, the West End neighborhood, Bankhead, Cascade Heights, Atlantic Station, Turner Field, Sweet Auburn, Bolton Road, Piedmont Park, Lakewood Park, Virginia Highlands, Five Points. So remember, we have seen each and every summer flash flooding in Atlanta. It just happens with these heavy rain producing thunderstorms. If you are driving and you come across a road that has standing water, do not drive on it. Flooding, okay? 6 inches of swiftly moving water can sweep you off your feet. 1 foot of swiftly moving water can float away a small car. 2 feet of swiftly moving water can float away a giant truck or an SUV. And the thing about flash floods is you don't know how quickly the water's moving. You don't know what's in the water. There could be electrical wires or something like that in it. And you also don't know the situation with the road underneath the floodwaters, right? You can't see the road. You don't know if there's a storm drain or a culvert underneath the road that's been washed out. So anytime we have a flash flood warning, I like to stress the fact that you should never drive across a flooded road. It is not worth risking your life. We say turn around, don't drown. Often when we have these types of heavy rain producing thunderstorms, we'll get cars that try to drive through it and you stall out, right? The water gets in the motor. You kill your car, right? You're stalled out, and then the high water rescue teams have to come in and they have to save you. So please don't do it. Let's go back to rainfall totals that we've seen so far. And while we're doing this, I just want to message really quickly somebody in our news department. If y'all can hear me in the newsroom, can you be on the lookout for any reports of flooding in some of those areas? Really the Grady Curve into West Midtown, those areas where I'm looking for potential flash flooding. There might be some flooding on some of our city streets already happening. And we'll try to see if any of our traffic cameras also show that. But we'll go in and query some of these rainfall amounts. So, I mean, it just keeps adding up. So you just saw that first 3.4. Look at this. So this is radar estimated. Again, this is not like the spoken word. This is not exactly what's happened. It's radar estimated, but the radar's trying to pick up, based on how heavy it's been raining and how long it's been raining that heavy, how much rain has accumulated. And then we also have some rain gauges at different, we call them Kokoraj station or other weather stations that are placed across North Georgia. And these show how much rain we've actually picked up over a short amount of time. And you can see some of these amounts that I've queried on here. We have a couple that are, you know, pushing 3 inches. Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Donnelly Avenue, the West End neighborhood right along I-20 as you're traveling past little 5 Points westward. We've got a lot of these areas that have picked up a good 1 to 3 inches of rain, and that heavy rain is still coming down. So again, a flash flood warning. This is going to be until 10:30 tonight. This is for the city of Atlanta. It includes Fulton County. It does not include DeKalb County yet. However, that heavy rain is continuing to push east. And if we see rain amounts adding up the same way that we've seen over Fulton County, there of course could be additional flash flood warnings issued. This goes until 10:45. And we still have some decent lightning. I actually just heard some of those cracks of thunder outside over our studios here, kind of north of Midtown. And so there's pretty good heavy rain still coming down. Some of those rainfall rates, let me see if it'll let me put up some rainfall rates. It's not going to let me put up the rainfall rates because the flash flood warning's there. Anyway, some of the rainfall rates coming down are still over 1 inch an hour. Now, in the meantime, I do want to point out what's happening south of Atlanta. The really cool thing on radar about these summer thunderstorms is as they collapse and they put down strong winds, they also send outflow in front of them. That is a cool rush of air, and the radar sees them as these tiny little skinny lines, which I'm going to actually take my radar and let's see if I can do this. Sweeping radar properties, where's my, there we go. All right, so this is cool. See this skinny line right here, okay? This storm here collapsed. It sent storm outflow in this direction. It's helping this storm to blow up. That little skinny green line that you see, that's the radar seeing little bugs, dirt, dust that is picked up by that cool rush of air. And the storm outflow, we call them, the storm outflow, that can help to trigger new downpours. In fact, you see right over Irondale and Bonanza, we've got yet a new little downpour that's popped up. And that is a little north of the Motor Speedway in Clayton County. And so we've seen that pop up. We're seeing more of these little downpours popping up over Walton County as well, and Monroe. And still watching heavy rain here in Atlanta. Now the cells that were over South Fulton County, we're seeing a lot more of that rain arriving down by, actually it's funny, the airport's like clear right at the terminals, but it's surrounded by areas of heavy rainfall. So a lot of that heavy rain continues to come down, but again, our immediate focus is on if we can get this heavy rain to wrap up in Atlanta. We know we have an estimated 1 to 3 inches of rain that's already fallen, and that is enough to cause flash flooding. On city roads like we have in this city, that is enough to cause flash flooding. So flash flood warning until 10:45 p.m. This includes the downtown connector through the Grady Curve and the Brookwood Split. It also includes Atlanta's West End neighborhood up to Cary Park and Stratford, and all the way west of 285. So driving west along I-20 past 285, the west wall, the perimeter, we have that flash flood warning in effect. We also have the flash flood warning in effect just north of the airport. So again, if you are in that flash flood warning, please do not drive on a flooded roadway. Luckily, we are seeing the rain rates are getting a little bit better in that west side of Atlanta. We're still seeing some heavy rain in the eastern side of that warning, but hopefully all this heavy rain can wrap up. The focus of the heavy rain then turns to our eastern suburbs, where we're tracking those scattered downpours, thunderstorms, and some very electric thunderstorms. Our storm that was over Watkinsville is now just south of Athens. That one we put up on, let's see, this one right here, the Athens camera. We'll go back to that really quickly. And we've still got a lot of good lightning coming in on that one. Incredibly vivid lightning on that. But I want to point that more southeast. Yes. Ooh, look at the lightning. Woo! There we go. Do you see that? That was intracloud lightning up top. So we'll see how that, let's see there. Oh, very electric. Wow. That's a doozy. Stay inside if you're near that one. That's a lot of lightning. So, a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain. We are not tracking a widespread severe threat, but these storms are intense. They continue pushing east and southeast, and a lot of lightning within these thunderstorms. So I'm going to leave up a loop that's going to go between radar, and it's going to show some of those cameras so you all can watch those. What we're going to do is, if we start, I got to go check in with my news team. If we start getting reports of more flooding and actual flooding reports and cars stalled and everything in the water, we're going to hop back on here. So I'm going to send things over to radar and those looping cameras here briefly. And then if we start hearing of a more serious flooding situation really unfolding, then we'll be hopping back on here. I'm just going to add in some of our cameras to that loop that I'm going to be showing you to make sure that you can check them out. Let's see here. And please, 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 please be safe. Be safe, be safe, be safe. We always ask you to be safe. So we'll take those out. Yeah, there we go. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. Again, flash flood warning for the city of Atlanta until 10:45 this evening. We are also watching very electric storms with heavy rainfall moving through our eastern suburbs. If we see that the flooding situation is getting worse in Atlanta, we're going to hop back on here. And also, there are more storms coming in for tomorrow. I'll have an updated look at forecast track tonight at 11 o'clock on 11 Live News, and we'll have kind of a roundup at all of these storms that we've seen this evening, what type of damage that we are gathering out there this evening. We'll see you then.